Hello, everybody. Welcome to tonight's show, guys. This is a big one. This is a game changer. We are literally having the Supreme Court rulings and changing laws, rulings on ballots. We are literally having so much vetting out. I've got a lot of details for you tonight. But this is one of the biggest things ever, especially because it's for Pennsylvania and for Georgia, on allowing votes in past the election day. The Supreme Courts of these states have decided now, this is breaking news, that no ballots can be accepted or counted after Election Day. Remember, 2020, tens of thousands of votes were counted after the Election Day. And this is what changed it. If you look at the past 6 elections, over the past 6 presidential elections, Republicans have won Georgia 5 out of the 6 times. The only time that we lost was this last 2020. But this is where, again, making sure we have free and fair election. Already, tens of thousands of votes are being counted out. This puts a lot of favor in Trump's momentum to win the election. One of the most pivotal counties in Arizona, Maricopa County, has already found 12,000 fraudulent votes in their assessment of another batch of dropped-off mail-in ballots of 27,000. So 27,000 dropped off mail-in ballots in bulk. They already found 12,000 that were fraudulent. We've never had this much canvassing and this much filtering like ever before. This is good stuff. We want free and fair elections. The RNC has unleashed over 100,000 poll watchers across all swing states, watching and being ready to report there across the board on the campaign. They also have 500 lawyers at the ready, with already preemptive lawsuits to file if needed, if there is any type of pushing away or refusal of allowing the Republican poll watchers to see what is actually going on. This is all hands on deck, everybody. On top of that, as of right now, the betting markets have moved Trump back up, and he's at the top of the polls where the most for the most accurate in 2020. So looking at the polls from 2020, the ones that were the most accurate, they're now predicting Trump to win in a landslide. We got a ton more data to show you because it is getting deep. Want to say thank you to everybody that is watching. If you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. And if you don't mind, click the thumbs up like button. The chat's already going crazy already. I mean, we're going to have a great show. I'm feeling it right now. We got a lot of good news to show you. And I want to say thank you to everybody that is a member of the channel. The link is in the description to join. And thank you so much to everybody that gives a super chat donation. I am busting my butt to make sure you got all the breaking news, but also to remember those donations go to give back to people in need. We want this channel to be more than just reporting news. And remember, we show you it on video, us doing it. But let's jump right into it. There's a lot of stuff going on, everybody. Check it out.
It's amazing. Kamala closing her campaign with a heaping, serving a cringe as the Veep and Donald Trump make their final push to win over undecided voters in swing states, Jesse. To be actually not talking about any policy at all, Judge.
Yeah, so I'm curious, when people go knock on doors, what do they say Kamala's policy is? Other than, she's this great person who wanted to decriminalize the crossing of the border by illegals and who wanted to ban fracking and confiscate guns and eliminate private health insurance. When they knock on doors, I'm curious as to whether they have answers for that. But look, here's the issue. She's in Pennsylvania 4 times tomorrow, okay? She's doing that because she needs to do that. Mm-hmm. Had she chosen Josh Shapiro, if she ends up losing this race over Pennsylvania, it will be on her totally for not picking a guy because he was Jewish, for not picking a guy because he would outshine her. Now, there are 300,000 Jewish votes in Pennsylvania. 80% of them are Democrats. So the smart thing to do would have been to allow Shapiro to carry the weight on that. But she wasn't smart enough to do that. So now she's got to be in Pennsylvania all day tomorrow. Let's talk about this over polling. I'm sick and tired of the polls. The one thing I do know is that Democrats are 16 times more likely to pick up a phone and get involved in polling. That's number one. Number two, 70% of America thinks that we're going in the wrong direction. All right, number three, 65% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. So it's not like everybody's like, yeah, let's keep going with the Biden administration, because she can't think of one thing she would do differently. And in the end, the Kamala camp is worried because they keep telling women, I don't know how good their polling is, it's okay if you don't tell your husband that you're voting for Kamala. And then she says to the bros, hey, bros, it's okay if you don't tell your men friends you're voting for Kamala. She's worried about that shy Kamala vote. So I think she's got a lot more to worry about. And in the end, his message is a positive one.
Yes.
We're going to have a golden era. He's good with the economy. It was better when he was there. And that he has done it before, and she can't even articulate it.
Jesse, I saved the Jesse for last. Can you respond to Jessica's optimism about Kamala? And also, what do you make of the polls, the shy voter phenomenon, and my new shirt?
I'm not a fan of the shirt.
Okay.
It's a little too urban for me. But it looks good on you, Greg.
Thank you.
I can tell you did chest this morning. Jessica keeps talking about all this door knocking. Well, it's not working because the Democrat machine in Pennsylvania has gone kaput. The early vote is way down for Democrats. Female votes down, urban votes down, and the rural vote is way up. So you can knock on as many doors as you want. The Republicans have sliced the early vote lead in half.
Yes.
And that's why they're terrified. You talk about these late breakers or going to Kamala Harris. What survey is that? I haven't seen that survey. The Democrats keep talking about this mysterious survey.
It's in Marist. It's in the Univision poll.
Well, no one's seen anything like that.
I literally just told you where
because
it is.
if it's actually happening, it would show up in the early vote. And across the board in every single battleground, the Republicans are either winning the early vote or they've actually just destroyed the Democrats'
traditional. You're cannibalizing your election day vote, potentially.
You think it's cannibalized.
Maybe.
But if you look at the data, it's low propensity voters that they're turning out. And Republicans always show up on election day. So what the Democrats, Greg, are deciding to do or relying on, they are now relying on this avalanche of enthusiasm on election day that has never happened before for Democrats. Democrats never produce huge avalanches of voter turnout on election day. They have to have that with Black Americans, Hispanic Americans. If there's that type of enthusiasm, why isn't it showing up in the early vote? It's a great question, because there's no enthusiasm. I have a theory here about Shapiro.
Yes.
Obama's wingman was in charge of the VP processing. You know, Obama loves Shapiro. They went with Walz instead. It's almost like they burned Walz on an L because they wanted to save Shapiro for 4 years.
Interesting. Here.
This is a big one, guys. We don't remember. I feel like a lot of them have already decided that Kamala Harris is going to lose, and that's why they gave her Walz. Check this out. The betting markets went crazy over the past couple of days, but now Trump is up 59 to 40. He took a huge dip. Look at this over here. I want you to see at the very end of this poll right here that Trump went from 67 down to 56, and now he's back up to 59. But the thing about it is we're looking at what states. Pennsylvania. This is the betting markets, but like I always say, follow the money. Pennsylvania for Trump, 59 to Kamala Harris is 41. Then we're looking at Arizona, which has been staying very, very consistent. This is really good. Georgia is a big one. Now remember, I told you, out of the past 6 elections, Republicans have won 5 times out of 6. They only lost in 2020 with Biden, but remember, we had the pipe burst, we had all the mail-in ballots, and all that stuff. Well, a lot of that's gone. So I feel like we're going to win Georgia, we're going to win Arizona, North Carolina, we're going to win Nevada, Pennsylvania, and I feel like we're going to win Wisconsin. Not Michigan, Wisconsin. That's what I'm feeling, y'all. But this is the big thing right here, what you're seeing right here. The Supreme Court has just ruled that ballots cannot be accepted and counted after the deadline by election officials anywhere in the state. Not only is it happening in Georgia, it is also happening in Pennsylvania. Democrats in Cobb County wanted to accept 3,000 mail-in ballots after the election day deadline, but the court just shut down their plans. Huge, huge win. Thank you so much, Judy Lynn, Loving Spirit, for the gifted 5 True Life memberships. Let's go. Thank you so much also to Liza, hopefully I'm saying that right. Says, go Trump, go, for the Super Chat donation. First timer. Y'all show Liza and Judy Lynn some love in the chat, everybody. But this is also super important. Check this out. I showed this earlier today's video. The urban turnout in Pennsylvania is down 381,000 votes. The female turnout is down 450,000 votes. So in times past, the Democrats have always been ahead of the Republicans in the early vote in Pennsylvania by over 1 million votes. This year, we have now reduced it from over 1 million to 489,000. That's less than half. A lot of people are saying that the vote going out for Kamala Harris is just not happening. They're not coming out to vote for her. This is from the Trump campaign senior leadership team. This is from the grassroots chief data consultant. What they're showing is that Kamala Harris is down big time across the board in all of the messaging, all of the early voting. Check this out. In 2020, the Republicans were ahead of the Democrats when it came to early voting by 40,000 votes. Okay? 40,000. This year, the Republicans are ahead of the Democrats by 189,000 votes. We went from 2020 being 40,000 to now 189,000. This is the real data, people. This is why when they say that we could see a landslide for Trump, because the numbers just are saying that it could be like never before. But if you haven't voted, go vote. Do not forget to go vote. We also have some other data on the other states like Nevada. Check this out.
Cheers to that one. New York Republicans vote in record numbers, but Democrat turnout in a total freefall. Why? Because people are executing and it's all about more. Here's Seth Cashel, another pretty good follow here. My thread on early voting and paranoia surrounding North Carolina. Early vote in North Carolina is R+1. Dems are down over 290,000 in early votes from 2020. Republicans are up 11K. The Republican lead in early voting is 41,445. In 2020, the total early and mail-in vote favored Democrats by 261K. That's a big difference. And a big difference there. That don't look good. That don't look good. All you got to do tomorrow is execute. Now, I heard someone say to me again this weekend, and it was a friend, yeah, early voting, I'm so glad it's done. It's not done. No, you can't vote again. We're not Democrats. However, you can bring someone else to the polls.
Yes.
You can text 10 people tomorrow. You can email them. You can DM them. I don't care what you got to do. You can knock on their doors, but more. You need to do more. I need to do more. Everybody needs to do more. Ladies and gentlemen, someone tweeted to me this weekend or sent a DM, I couldn't believe it, and said, Dan, you're not working this weekend? Not working this weekend. Do you have any idea what I did this weekend? Get people to the polls? Do you have any idea? I had to go vote too this weekend. What do you think? I'm immune from that? My vote counts too.
Yes.
We were out hustling all weekend. My wife and I both. Notice there's no weekend update because the only weekend update is more. That's the only weekend update that matters. David Sachs, who's been on our show before, he's a tech entrepreneur. Here are this week's PsyOps alone. This is a pretty accurate summary. Monday, a roast comics joke is going to decide the election. Really. Tuesday was apostrophe gate. Biden calling us all garbage, claiming he was talking about the comedian. Wednesday, I will protect women, referred to abortion instead of keeping killers from pouring across the border. It's Trump. Thursday, Trump wants to put Liz Cheney in front of a firing squad. These are just last week's PsyOps. Friday.
And sorry to interrupt, but this is the thing. What he's talking about, these are the main key points that the mainstream media said last week. This is how stupid some of this news media is, is that they're putting out these things trying to interfere, to me, with the election, trying to deter people. Thank you so much, Liza, for the other super chat. Let's go. She said, vote ASAP, Trump, Vance, MAGA 2024. And thank you so much, Brian McGavick, for the super chat. He said, did you know that we pay politicians a salary after being voted out? Get well, Michelle. Y'all show Brian and Liza some love in the chat, everybody.
Undecided's breaking for Kamala by double digits. I'm not sure how exactly they know that. Saturday, Kamala's winning Iowa. 3 more days to go. He says, ignore the noise and vote. Be careful
it's all noise.
of the psyops. Here's one last early voting trend so you feel, I want you in a good place tomorrow with your heads. Manifest big things, ladies and gentlemen. Manifest big things and it'll happen. Went to church this weekend. Father Marty blew it out of the box, too. I encourage you to go to my Twitter yesterday. I put the Rumble link. He puts his homilies on Rumble, and especially listen halfway through. He went for it yesterday. And everybody got up and applauded. Here's some final numbers coming out of Nevada. Nevada GOP improved its position again.
Boom.
Pennsylvania GOP continues improving. Turnout trends in Georgia and Wisconsin remain steady, with Trump counties overperforming. You'd rather be Trump right now. Jim, can you send them that article you sent me, the Reuters one about Hillary Clinton? Remember 2016, the early voting? It's in your text stream with me. I'm going to show you this. I'm going to put this in the show. Whenever you guys get to it, I should have put it up early. One more thing. I want you in a good place tomorrow. We are going to manifest good, big things, man. And we are going to make it happen because more is all that matters. We are bringing more tomorrow.
Yes.
We're not done. We just started. I just don't want you to get cocky. In the 1 in 100 chance that Iowa poll is right, you have to consider it. Don't get cocky, because this is what Hillary Clinton's people did. They got cocky in 2016. And you know what they did on Election Day? Anybody have any idea? They did nothing. They didn't vote. And that's why she lost, because everybody got cocky. I'll send you an article in a minute if you think I'm making this up. They were like, man, this thing is over. The early voting for Hillary Clinton's incredible. She lost. The Democrats can still show up, which means if you show up and you do more, we'll win.
Yes.
And that's a fact. Folks, right now, it's all about the close, man. It's all about the follow-through. This is the 2-minute drill. This is the last out of the 9th inning. Enter Sandman's playing. Mariano Rivera's coming in the game. Jim's here, so I'll give him a little shout-out. John Franco's coming in the game. Or Jesse Orozco, or whatever Mets player Jim wants. Jim's a Mets guy, whatever. Jesse Orozco's in the game. You got to be a big baseball fan. I may be aging out right now. This is it. It's all about the close right now. And I'm telling you right now, if you want to be one person right now, you sure as shit be Kamala Harris. Kamala's team blew it. The opportunity to change the narrative, ladies and gentlemen, is over. And we're dealing with another Biden scandal again this weekend. It's really incredible, the party of tolerance, coexistence, peace and love. And here we go. Here's Stimson J. Cat. Happy, happy, joy, joy, joy. It's really weird how the Stimson J. Cat, Ren and Stimpy party, always talking about joy, constantly are talking about beating the shit out of us, smacking us, taking us around or back in the schoolyard, kicking our asses, fascists, Nazis. You ever, the joy party? Here's Biden again, and I want you to look at the face he puts on. Is this guy taking a dump in his diapers? He said, no, I want you to watch. I think he needed a wipey after this, talking about smacking people around or whatever, smacking them in the or something. This is the joy party. This is not how they wanted to close. Check
I'm serious. These are the kind of guys you like to smack in the ass.
Wait, look at the face. Tell me this guy's not crapping himself. Jim, look at this guy's face. Is this guy not taking a dump right now or what? Somebody
serious.
Tell me this guy's not defecating himself right now. Look at this. Wait, Jim, watch. Look at that. Come on. Folks, this guy needed a box of those wipies after that. There is zero doubt he was controlling his bowels after that. What he was doing, I don't really know. But this is certainly not the happy, happy joy campaign. This looks like the most miserable campaign in America. And get ready. Man, I almost forgot. I'm glad you said it. Get ready. Get ready for them to blame Joe Biden if they lose. You're already seeing it in Axios and Politico today.
I'm telling you guys, we got a lot of things showing up. I want to show you the facts, what's actually happening right now. Because again, too, remember, it's all about, this is, oh, snap. No way. No way. Sorry, guys. I lied to you. I'm so sorry. Guess what? It's not 100,000 poll observers and watchers. It's 230,000 poll observers and poll workers strong for the RNC. That's literally over 250,000 people ready to make sure we have some free and fair elections. Over 500 attorneys in every battleground state. Huge. This is from Laura Trump. This is from, she co-heads the RNC, the Republican National Convention. Thank you so much, Sandra Marioenzi, for the super chat. Said, I'm so excited. And Judy Lynn Loving, you're too kind. Too big to rig. Can't wait to watch tomorrow. And thank you so much. One second. Y'all killing it tonight, everybody. Y'all killing the giving. Y'all are awesome. Alberto and Faith Bracero, thank you so much for the super chat. And Glenn Carbonaro said, thanks, Joe. You're my go-to for this election. Thanks for always being on top of everything. I got you, guys. I got you. Check this out, because this is the stuff you're not going to see on mainstream media of what's happening behind the scenes. Listen to this.
Watch the light bulb.
Oh, sorry. Let me get this pulled up 1 second. All right, here. Check this out.
Okay, tell me if this is right. I just went by one of the places that you vote at where I live at. And you don't go in to vote. You pull up in your car. They bring the machine out to your car. They push the buttons for you.
You hear this?
There was no Republicans there. They were all Democrats. What is going on, America? What the hell is happening in our country right now with our elections?
I'm telling you, this stuff and these videos and all this evidence is popping up like, who the heck has ever heard of going to vote and they tell you to stay in your car? They also tell you that they're going to push the buttons for you. And they also tell you that it was complete. I'm telling you, we're seeing crap like never before, but this is why the RNC is going head over heels to make sure that we got all the free and fair elections. On top of that, JD Vance is blowing it out the water, and he just unleashed on Kamala. Check this out.
Now, it's crazy to me that Kamala Harris pretends to be the person who somehow is going to change the direction of the country, even though she's the sitting vice president of the United States. I've never seen anything like it. You would think that she has nothing to do with the policies of the last 4 years. She goes around and gives these speeches where she says, you know, on day one, I'm going to fix the affordability crisis affecting American citizens. Or she'll say, on day one, we're going to close down that southern border. And all of us with common sense are saying, Kamala, day one was 1,400 days ago. What the hell have you been doing the whole time? Go do your job. Stop talking about your job and go and do it. You know, it's if Tim Walz has got the hardest job in American politics, I believe that I've got the easiest job in American politics. Because think about this. All I've got to do is go around the United States, go around beautiful places like the state of Wisconsin, and get to tell people the truth.
Yes.
The truth is that when Donald J. Trump was president, inflation was at 1.5%. When Donald J. Trump was president, wages were fast rising at the fastest rate in 40 years in the United States of America. When Donald Trump was president, the border was secure and the world was at peace. That's a hell of a record to run on.
Let's go.
And look, it's so simple. You know, for the first election in the lifetime of every single person in this country, we have an opportunity not just to compare the plans and the promises. You know, you go to Kamala Harris's website and half of it's copied from Donald J. Trump. You know, I told the president a few weeks ago, you know, because we came out with this policy, President Trump did. He said no taxes on tips. Let's give our hardworking servers more of their money. And then 2 days later, Kamala Harris came out and said she agrees with that policy. Or, you know, of course, one of the hallmarks of this campaign is that President Trump and I are talking about the importance of securing the southern border. But then Kamala Harris, all of a sudden, she's got religion. My friends on border security, the borders are for 3.5 years of open borders, now says she agrees with Donald J. Trump on borders. I said to the president, look, she's going to show up on the Monday before the election with a red MAGA hat and a Navy suit because she's recognized that people are so frustrated with Kamala Harris's actual policies. They're so frustrated with what Kamala Harris has done to this great country that they're ready to take America in a new direction. And I think the thing that Kamala Harris has been doing over the last few months is trying to pretend that she is going to fix what Kamala Harris broke. And I think the people of Wisconsin are smart enough to recognize when they've got a politician like Kamala Harris who's trying to sell them snake oil. We know that Kamala Harris cast the tie-breaking vote on trillions of dollars of new spending. We know that Kamala Harris bragged about opening the border and then did exactly that. We know that Kamala Harris implemented the terrible tax policies that have led to sky-high inflation. We know that Kamala Harris went to war on American energy. My friends, it's very simple. We are going to say to Kamala Harris tomorrow, you are fired. We want to go back to common sense leadership. We want to go back to Donald Trump.
Let's go, because I'm telling you this, guys. What we're seeing, I've got the evidence, I've got the receipts, everything that I'm telling you, I've got of what's actually happening. Remember, Arizona's a big one, got to win Arizona. But Maricopa County officials just announced bad news for Kamala Harris and the Democrats. 27,000 mail-in ballots arrived with mismatched signatures. 15,000 have been cured, meaning 12,000 ballots will not be counted unless they're cured. So they went through, were they able to validate them? No, 12,000 they have not been able to validate. Listen to this. Oh, come on, yeah.
Of those approximately 1.4 million ballot packets, we have sent approximately 27,000 to curing so far. Now, what curing is that's the process by which we attempt to contact the voter if we cannot match the signature. We have cured about 15,000 so far out of that 27,000. We have until 5 calendar days after Election Day in order to cure as many of those as we can.
Y'all hear that? They're already telling us how they're going to do things. 5 days. This is the problem where we have with the elections right now, is that we never know who's actually going to win unless it's pretty much a landslide of where things are at. And guys, y'all are so kind in the chat right now. Y'all are just killing it. I appreciate y'all so much. Y'all are just blessing me so much when I see your kind comments. I love our channel. I believe we have an amazing channel that we're showing you what's actually going on, what's the truth, the latest on what's happening, because this is what's most important. Check this out.
Older, richer, safer, and stronger than ever before.
We like hard work. Hard work is good work. Hard work is joyful work.
I've been waiting 4 years for this. Kamala, you're fired. Get the hell out. Get the hell out of here. You're out of here.
Trump spent the day zigzagging from North Carolina to Pennsylvania and finally Michigan, where he closes it out before midnight. And because NBC broke the law by inviting Harris on SNL and not Trump, the network was forced to give him equal time on another show. And he chose Sunday Night Football.
Hello to our great sports fans, and I hope you're having a fantastic time. We're 2 days away from the most important election in the history of our country. We've got to save our country, and it needs saving. It's in very bad shape. We have to straighten out our country. We have to close our borders. We have to lower our taxes. We have to get rid of inflation. and we're going to do it. Just remember, Kamala and her friends broke it. I'll fix it. Most important election in the history of our country. Go and vote.
Harris spent the day in Pennsylvania. She'll be in Philly tonight with Lady Gaga. Celebrities are the only way she can fill seats. Before that, she was going to door knocking for votes. Watch this.
How are you? How are you? Hi. I'm a hug. Yes, you got it.
Can I hug you?
And, you know, Dave, it's the day before the election, but I just wanted to come by and say I hope to earn your vote.
Talk about ending the campaign with a whimper. I almost feel bad for her. Both candidates have spent the most time in Pennsylvania. The Keystone State seems to be the key to victory. The race in Pennsylvania, according to the polls, is tied. It's also tied in Michigan and Wisconsin. Harris can't afford to lose any of these states because Donald Trump's ahead by at least a point or two in North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, and Nevada.
Let's go.
It looks close, but the Trump campaign feels good about where they are because of the early vote. For the first time in history, Republicans are ahead in the early vote. That's in person and in mail ballot combined. They're ahead in Arizona, Georgia, North Carolina, and Nevada.
I'm sorry to interrupt everybody, but did you hear that? For the first time in history, Republicans are ahead in the early vote. Arizona, Georgia, North Carolina, and Nevada. Let's go.
And have cut Democrats' early vote lead in Pennsylvania by half. We'll have more inside information about the early vote later in the show, but the Trump campaign says women and urban voters are down from 2020, and rural voters showing up big. The Democrats are counting on a big turnout on Election Day, which historically rarely happens for them. They're relying on enthusiasm tomorrow, but we haven't seen any enthusiasm so far show up in their early vote. And it has David Axelrod worried.
So what I'm worried about is you're counting on some women who are independent Republican women to come out and vote for Harris. Is that going to materialize? Is the gender gap going to be what you need it to be? Are minority voters going to come out in the numbers of African-American voters in particular, and are you going to get the margins that you want there? So there are a lot of open questions. This race is filled with uncertainty.
Republicans worked their tails off registering new voters and putting together a ground game over the last few years. And we're already starting to see the results. The polls say the race is tied, but there's still a lot we don't know.
I think the pollsters are getting this wrong. We're all missing something because they're giving us the same poll over and over again. They're telling us we're watching a basketball game where every play is a jump ball. Somewhere, somebody is missing something. I think I'm not going to call it a wave, but I think there's a wavelet out there of Republican enthusiasm and registration.
Wall Street, who pays guys millions of dollars to know things before they happen, is seeing the same thing.
The expectation today is that Donald Trump will win the White House in just a few days. We'll know shortly.
Wall Street isn't always right, though. But even our good friend Chuck Todd is predicting a Trump win.
This is not the beginning of something nor the end of something. We continue to be in the middle of something. We're about to do something we haven't done since the 19th century, and that is we just finished 2 straight one-term presidents. The likelihood of this being a one-term presidency is high, not low, because we are a country that has been voting against. We voted against Hillary Clinton in 2016 and got Trump. We voted against Trump in 2020 and got Biden. I think this is another vote against election, not a vote for.
This race really started with the raid. Biden sending the FBI to turn Trump's house upside down rallied the Republican Party around him. After that, it was overkill. Indictment after indictment after indictment. Even a mugshot. Then unconstitutionally excessive fines and a 6-week show trial. Trump's numbers began to skyrocket. Biden was in trouble, so he gambled and called for an early debate. A gamble he lost so badly he lost the nomination. The Democrats stripped Biden of his delegates and forced him off the stage with a gun to his head. Meanwhile, guns were loaded for Trump, and 45 nearly died in Butler. The assassin was put down by the Biden administration. They stonewalled. Investigators seized the shooter's phones, burned his body, and still to this day, we know nothing. Kamala inherited Joe's war chest. And the Democrats forced her onto the party and manufactured a bounce that began to fizzle this fall. The more she exposed herself as someone who couldn't really be taken seriously. The more we saw of Kamala, the less we liked her. And when she said there wasn't really anything she'd do differently than Joe Biden, that may have been the beginning of the end. But the more we saw of Trump, in ways which we've never seen him before, McDonald's drive-through window and taking out the garbage, America became comfortable again with the idea of returning the former president to the White House. But the machine kept coming. Oprah, Michelle, Barack, Bill, Hillary, Bruce, Beyonce. 60 Minutes, biased moderators, a list of hoaxes longer than a diner menu. But the October surprise was Scranton Joe, who wouldn't go down quietly. His strange outbursts and oddball behavior reminded America of the mistake we'd made and the woman who'd went along for the ride. Democrats' frustration boiled over, and the last 2 weeks we saw them insult not just Republican voters, but their own voters. As the machine broke down, they began calling us un-American, fascist garbage who needed to be smacked in the ass. And Democrats who didn't agree were sexist race traitors who should have lied to their spouses and vote for Harris if they wanted any chance of getting lucky in bed. How does this all end? We don't know. It's not over yet. But this may have been the most iconic campaign in American political history. The rest of the story hasn't been written. That's up to you. If you didn't vote early, tomorrow's your day. And if enough of you do what you need to do, we could know the winner on election night. Imagine that. Let's bring in...
This is huge, guys. I want to show you some quick things real quick. Thank you so much to David's Daily Global Media for the super chat. Let's go. And Kingdom Mind, welcome to the fam. Y'all show them some love in the chat, everybody. So this is what I want to show you because this is where we got to get away from. Remember this image right here. This was the voting. They were trying to have poll watchers. They were trying to have poll observers. They literally blocked people from being able to see how the ballots were counted. This is why we have over 230,000 poll watchers and over 500 lawyers in every swing state to fight this crap. If this happens, this will literally, they will have lawyers, police on the thing, on the point to make sure that we get free and fair elections. The other point I want to make too, this is in Wisconsin. The reason why we need an America First is what you're about to hear. This is the most, I can't even fathom, this is happening right now in America. Check this out.
So I just went and I took my oath to be a poll worker tomorrow for the United States election. I was told you can't wear red or blue. That makes sense. But she also said you can't wear American flags. And I said, why? And she said, well, because one side tends to not like it that much. They think you're trying to push your beliefs on them. I'm sorry. We literally live in the United States of America and we're voting on the next leader of our country. And you're offended that we want to wear American flags?
Can you believe this
crap? Please don't vote for the wrong side of history, people, please. This is so insane. We are literally United States citizens voting for the United States president, and we can't wear American flags to polls, or it pisses one side off.
I'm telling you, and this is the thing, overwhelmingly, this is bad. This is why we have so many lawyers on average in the swing states, especially Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin. The ratio is 80-20. 80% are Democrat, 20% are Republican. And that's why they have so many poll watchers out there, and that's why they got all the lawyers ready for what we're about to hear. Check this out.
Former Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy, and former White House press secretary and outnumbered co-host Kayleigh McEnany. We got to go ladies first.
Oh, I like it.
You know how chivalrous I am.
You are.
My mom raised me well. I saw my mom today. She's very upset. I didn't rub it in. Not going to predict anything. We don't do that here anymore.
She's a Kamala voter.
Of course she is. Ride or die Kamala Harris. But when you look at how things are now, Kamala's going door to door.
Yes, quite literally.
What does that tell you?
Yeah, I saw her pop up at some random person's house in Reading, Pennsylvania, and act like she was surprised, and the voter act surprised. Maybe they were, but I'm sure that was a heavily vetted interaction. No campaign would let her do that. Look, I think Donald Trump, there's no doubt, is in the best position he has ever been in. When you look at polls, he has a lead, and 5 of the 7 battleground states, according to the Real Clear Politics average, all within the margin of error. Nate Cohn has affirmatively come out and said, we have every reason to believe that the polling bias against Trump has not been corrected over the last 4 years. And then when I look at the early vote, I just checked the new returns out of Pennsylvania.
Yes.
412,000 is what the Democrats have now. Most analysts say they would needed 415,000 to feel close, 420,000 to be comfortable. They are short of that. Anything can happen. No one knows what's going to happen tomorrow, but I would rather have Trump's hand of cards tonight than Kamala Harris.
And so would I, but we don't know about women. Women continue to surprise us, Speaker. They came out strong in 2022. I didn't see it coming. I don't usually see things coming when women are involved. But again, it's so unpredictable. There's a chance she could win. There's a chance he could win big.
Yes. Even though the polls are tight, something will break. And if someone breaks, someone can win big. Now, look, I talked to the president. He called me twice today. 7 o'clock this morning, very confident. You look at him up on stage, very comfortable. He calls me before he's landing into Pittsburgh, very confident in where he's going. That's not somebody worried about where it is. When you look at the gender vote, I went back because I'm concerned by it. I really am. But if you look at the gender vote today, based upon 2020, Biden was doing better in the gender vote than Kamala is doing right now. It's close, but he's doing better. And it's just what she was talking about. At this moment in time in Pennsylvania, Democrats were up 1 million votes on us in Pennsylvania.
That is crazy.
I've said this from the very beginning. The one state I'm watching tomorrow night is Pennsylvania. If Trump wins that, it's over.
They have been working hard.
And sorry to interrupt. So like you just said, Pennsylvania, they're normally up over 1 million votes. The Democrats are. Now they're only up 489,000. This is cut in half. Huge, huge change from 2020 to this year.
They've been registering voters. They have a ground game. There's a lot of lawyers involved. And there's excitement. You can tell when you're bringing out all these new people for the first time. The campaign is saying people that have never voted before are actually voting early.
Yes, no doubt. So Michael Whatley said last week that he thought we would go into tomorrow with leads in North Carolina and in Arizona and in Georgia. Well, Michael Whatley, we can add Nevada to that list. All 4 states, Republican have leads in the early vote. 2 of those, Democrats had leads last time. And the big question, the huge question is, are we cannibalizing our vote? Are these just election day voters that won't show up tomorrow? Michael Whatley has said that he has seen polling that shows 20% of those are voters who didn't vote in 2020, and he believes they voted Republican. That is a very encouraging sign. Again, you never know. I remember landing in Grand Rapids in 2020, feeling very encouraged. So you never know what's going to happen.
You never know. And they do know a little bit, though, because you've seen turnout in the urban centers down.
Yes.
And as you said, she's performing under where Joe Biden was performing. So Democrats are relying on a huge election day wave tomorrow.
And that's what they usually lose.
That's what they usually lose.
What we were just talking about, that early vote, you can go see, and they call them 1 of 4 voters, meaning you only come out one time and under. In Nevada, like 23% are newly registered. We are getting more people who were low propensity votes to vote early. That's really positive.
Yes.
The other thing you have to think about, in 2020, it's different. That was COVID. Remember, people were changing the election laws, just do what they want? They mailed everybody a ballot in Pennsylvania. And if you look, there are 300,000 Democrats who voted in that presidential election who've never voted again. And now the registration is even tighter. So you've watched Republicans do their job for the last 4 years and improve. Now, is it enough? That will be the question. And I don't think there's an undecided voter. And if you look at Kamala's campaign, remember when she went really ugly, said fascist Nazis? That was to gin up her base because her base wasn't turning out. So she had to do every shade she can. Said, Trump is evil. He's Hitler. You've got to turn out. And it hasn't materialized. You have Messina, you have Axelrod. They're all complaining right now.
And now she's closing with unity. After calling us all fascists.
Went from joy to Hitler to unity.
We all believe that.
Trump closing with a different message, returning to the golden age. Let's listen to a soundbite.
My message to Americans tonight is simple. We do not have to live this way. We don't. We don't. And we won't. We won't. We do not have to settle for weakness, incompetence, decline, and decay. With your vote tomorrow, we can fix every single problem our country faces and lead America and indeed the whole world, to new heights of glory. A vote for Trump means your groceries will be cheaper, your paychecks will be higher, your streets will be safer and cleaner, your communities will be richer, and your future will be brighter than ever before. This will be the golden age of America.
That's a nice close.
That
Kaylee.
is a nice
It
close.
is. Look, Jesse, we suburban women get a really bad rap as we're all going to show up and vote on abortion. And for Kamala, what you just heard is what the women I exist around are going to be voting on. What you just heard. I encourage everyone, if you want a reminder of the golden age, go read the Wall Street Journal piece that popped days before the election when I was on Air Force One, the higher wages of growth. 2 times wage gains under Trump versus Obama. $4,379 in your pocket in 1 year in 2023. Read the piece because the golden age is what women will be voting on.
And McCarthy started the golden age a little earlier than the rest of us. You should see how much he gets paid
Ooh,
for
that's harsh.
speeches.
But the best thing that Trump is doing is closing around. Kamala broke it, I'll fix it.
Yep.
That he is so good at, that is the slogan.
Great message to close out. All right. Good to see you two both.
Thanks, Jesse.
So this is the big thing too. There's 2 really big betting markets that I want to show you. So right now we've shown you the poly market. This is the one. It's got Trump at 59.1 to Kamala Harris at 40.9. Remember, there's people that are betting literally millions and millions of dollars on this. There's people that got a lot of stuff in the Kalshi, I think it's called Kalshi. Who will win the presidential election? They have Donald Trump at 56, Kamala Harris at 44. I'm telling you, if there's anything, Vegas odds, betting odds, we are seeing is that Trump is winning across all the points. Because, again, people put their money where their mouth is at. They've never seen it. We just heard it. Historic early Republican turnout for the vote. Now, if this happens again on election day, like, we can actually have a landslide. That's what I think. Let me know your thoughts because, again, too, what we're seeing is unprecedented. Never have we ever done this. We are literally making history. Check this out.
So, Ben, how do you think the Democrats are handling the election and the aftermath?
Well, I mean, not well. And when you're boarding up your stores in preparation for what looks like Trump Passover, right? If you put the proper Harris Walls signage on your store, then the God of destruction will not visit upon you. Right. And that's never a particularly good look. And the levels of panic are off the charts. And that speaks where they think this election is already. I mean, they think that this election.
And sorry to interrupt, but look at this. They are literally boarding up. This is in Washington, boarding up around a lot of places because they feel like Trump is going to win and there's going to be chaos and riots like there was in 2016, which I think is ridiculous and disgusting.
Is already trending in Donald Trump's favor. If they didn't think that, they wouldn't be doing precisely what it is that they are doing right now. It's funny. A lot of the headlines right now are all about how they're preparing for Donald Trump rioters. Really, in Washington, D.C., we're back to the Jussie Smollett story now. All these MAGA-hatted voters in Washington, D.C. burning down stores. The panic is palpable, and it's coming largely from one side.
Do you think they're prepared for a Trump victory? I sometimes like to believe that maybe they'll coalesce and help the country return to normalcy, maybe restore the borders, maybe stop spending so much money. Or is this just going to be a bloodthirsty ghoul fest on day one?
Oh, Jesse, you sweet summer child, you. What do you think?
I know Pelosi's going to raid the Capitol with the spear and nunchucks. I get it. But, like, the rest of the country has to say, we put this guy in there for a reason if that happens tomorrow. No,
this is the
nothing.
Thing. All Americans want, all they want, all Americans want is normalcy. That's all they want. And in fact, in 2020, that's what they thought they were getting when they elected Joe Biden, which is why he started in office with an approval rating in the high 50s. And then he immediately sank because it turns out both he was not normal and his administration was not normal. What they were providing was not normalcy. This is why what they're talking about right now, the American people in electing Donald Trump, is a return to normalcy, meaning a solid economy, no foreign wars, anti-wokeness, a regulatory state that actually makes sense, lower taxes. All people want is not to think about this stuff anymore. So if Democrats make the mistake of running up against Donald Trump's normalcy agenda, and make no mistake, what Donald Trump is running as right now is a normal, moderate candidate. Now, that doesn't mean that he doesn't say things. Everybody knows that he says things. He's Trump. But That's not the same thing as his agenda. His agenda is what Americans are looking for by every available poll, by the way. And so if they stand in the way of that agenda, they're going to pay the price at the ballot box next time, too.
He's running as a rich, stern grandfather, and a lot of people respect that. When you see the narcissism of people taking out insurance policies, Democrats, because they might have to lawyer up because Trump's going to throw them in Gitmo, or I don't know, the lengths they're going to insult people, their own voters, Ben, psychologically, what does that tell you?
I mean, it tells me they think that they're losing. Kamala Harris's team has put out a couple of ads in the course of the last 72 hours. One was to women and one was to men. For women, it was, you need to hide from your husbands exactly how you're voting. You need to secretly vote for Kamala Harris. And then, in case you missed it, they said to men, you need to hide from the other men that you're voting for Kamala Harris. What does it say about a campaign when they're saying to their prospective voters, guys, we know you have to keep it a secret. We know everyone wants you to vote Trump, but secretly you're allowed to vote for Kamala. Here's the thing. I've heard a lot of people in this election make a case for Trump, right? I'm one of them. I've heard many people make a case against Trump. I have yet to hear anyone make a case for Kamala Harris. Anyone. No one can make a case for this woman. She has not made a case for herself. Tim Walz has not made a case for her. Joe Biden will not make a case for her. There is no case for Kamala Harris. There's just pro-Trump and anti-Trump. And I really wonder whether anti-Trump gets you all the way across the finish line with a candidate on the other side like Kamala Harris.
Well, if she can't make a case for herself, why should other people? And she doesn't even talk about the last 4 years. She doesn't talk about the next 4 years, the last 4 years. She just talks about Donald Trump. Do you get a sense sometimes, and we talked about this right after the coup, that this was just to stop the bleeding down ballot? This was maybe to save the House, maybe stop the bleeding in the Senate, and just prevent a wipeout? Because after that debate, we were looking at a wipeout down ballot with Biden as the nominee. Do you still see it this way? Because she's knocking on doors at 8:30 at night in Pennsylvania.
I mean, I think that everything that she's doing right now is a desperation move. I mean, she herself was a desperation move. It's why she's spending time in places with competitive Senate races that may not be competitive for her on the presidential level. She's really allocating resources oddly for a candidate who theoretically, according to her, is up. I mean, her campaign is claiming right now that she is not only going to win tomorrow night, she's going to sweep tomorrow night. That is not the way her campaign is behaving.
No. I think we can read the tea leaves, those of us who can read. Ben Shapiro, good to see you.
All righty, y'all.
You too.
So I want to show y'all one more thing. So check this out, because this is huge. So this just came out. This is from Interactive Polls. This is a very well-renowned polling. And this is big. Oh, sorry. Check this out. They have the electoral map on final Atlas Intel two-way polling. Remember, Atlas Intel was the #1 most accurate polling in 2020. They have Trump winning 312 electoral votes to Harris 226. This is what the map looks like. Trump sweeping Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. Now, trust me, I'd love to see this. I just want to see Trump with 270 or more. That's all I'm saying. You let me know your thoughts on this, how accurate it may be. But I'm telling you, there's a lot of good feelings in the air, but everybody still got to go vote. That is super, super important. And just want to say, remember, tomorrow night, and also tomorrow we're doing 2 shows. We'll be having like a 1 p.m. Just to go over the preliminaries of where things are at. And then we're going to have a huge 6 p.m. Central show where we are going to do a long stream. Probably the longest ever on channel. I think I've gone 4 hours. This one's going to be probably 6 hours. We're going to go all into the night, watching, reporting on the election, all the swing states. And remember, you want to come here because I'm not just going to show you one network. I'm going to pull from X. I'm going to pull from every single source possible to show you the most accurate, up-to-date information of what's actually going on the ground. So remember, 6 p.m. here tomorrow night. And then, y'all, if you're subscribed, if you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you can be notified so that that way we can take care of you. And I promise you, I will show you more than you will ever see across any media center, just like I'm showing you tonight. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much to all of our members. The link is in the description if you want to join. And thank you so much to everybody that's given us super chats tonight. Y'all killed it. I'm telling you what, I love the donations. Judy Lynn, Loving Spirit, for the gifted 5 True Life News memberships. Liza, Brian McGavick, Sandra Mario Enzi, Judy Lynn, Loving Spirit, Alberto and Faith Bracero, Thank you so much to Glenn, Carbonaro, David's Daily Global Media, Kingdom Mind. Welcome to the family. Y'all show them some love in the chat. Y'all are amazing. I love y'all. I'm here to serve y'all. We all want America first, freedom, what that flag represents. And I just can't tell you how grateful I am to be here doing this for you all. Love you all, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.